What up, and welcome back to Boring Reviews. Stop making fun of me, Nick. Jodi here.
I just moved my shoulders.
Stop.
Nick here.
You're
the
copying
non-making fun of person.
You're copying my shoulders.
I had it.
I went like this, and then you did it.
I know. I was so inspired by it. You are a very inspirational woman.
Stop. Today
Brave
we're reacting to another quite interesting QI. Where are 1% of Americans?
On this episode of Key, we're going to learn about what the 1% is or where they are. I don't know. Is it jail? Is it like the Cayman Islands hiding away from, the tax evasion kind of nonsense? Where are 1% of Americans? Is it like in a certain country? Like that would be interesting, like a random country where it has 1% of the 100%. So 1 out of 99, 100, 1 out of 99. One besides the 99 are in like some random country like
Sweden, Norway,
Chad or something like that. Anyways, we're gonna find out. We love this show. We love game shows and the UK game shows, the US game shows, whatever. If you have any other game shows you want us to react to, please help us expand our library of reactions. We really appreciate it. Get those requests in. If you like this one, please don't forget to
like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can be aware of our next uploaded videos.
Where do you think 1% of Americans are?
I already said Sweden or Norway.
And if you think about it, if it's like really like an insult, that's not bad. It's only 1%. Or up their butts. I don't know.
Unless it's where 1% of Americans in the IQ chart, high up there.
Oh gosh, here we go. Here we go.
Where are 1% of American adults?
Oh, I imagine we could find out, couldn't we? We could use Google Earth, because some of them are quite big. There's one. He's got his own postcode.
1% of the population, what's the population? It's about
300 million, isn't it?
So you're talking about between
350 million?
2.5 and 3 million, say.
Jail.
Yes. G for jail. English spelling of jail, of course, but it is G for jail.
Really? That many people? 3 million people are locked up?
Well, 2.3, which
See,
is 1 in every 99.1 adults.
All of those guys there are innocent as well, because they all were arrested for having switchblades, but they've all only got one arm.
Well spotted.
You can call that. You
The
said
proportion of
jail.
Americans in prison, more than twice as many as South Africans, more than 3 times as many as the Iranians, more than 6 times as many as the Chinese.
Okay, besides the Chinese, I'd like to ask though,
Yeah,
how
what's the
many
population
more?
numbers?
Yeah, how many more people are living in the United States compared to those other countries? But I can see with the Chinese, even though China's a very big country, they do have a lot less freedoms than we do in America. And we're not going to get into politics about guns and all that. We're not.
Oh, wait. I'm trying to do the math here. Yes, no problem with that. What you said.
Okay.
I'm trying to do the math here. Okay, so if he's saying, is it 3 times as much the percentage or the population in jail? So if it's like say
true.
3 times the percentage, so they're like 1/3% in like whatever Ukraine or whatever he said. Trying to do the math. I don't know what their population number is. Let's say they have 60 million. That'd be 600,000. So what? 200,000. So I wonder if it's the percent, because that would make a difference.
That would make
right?
a big difference, yeah. The only thing I know is they say that if students cannot read on grade level by 3, if they cannot read by 3rd grade, not 3 years old, but 3rd grade, sorry.
They're all going to jail.
They're going to jail. They build their jails based
That's
off
not
of
what they say.
how you can read. I've heard that.
The
so many
likelihood
times.
increases a little bit. Doesn't mean they're all,
not-
illiterate
no.
people are in jail.
No. They say that they build their jails off of that number. So it's not for sure, but they're just averaging. Like if, let's say, 200 people can't read by 3rd grade, then they're averaging about 200 people in jail. It's just what they say.
Yes.
I remember sitting through a training and them showing that this is why it's so important to read. Anyway.
Oh, hold on. This is very fascinating to me. And I don't want to forget this thought real quick. The whole idea of pro versus con when it comes to jails, right? First of all, I've watched so many true crime things. Not that I'm an expert, but I've watched so many different examples of people who were just thrown in jail without any type of sufficient evidence whatsoever. The police had their man or their woman and they threw them in jail, and it turns out they were wrong.
Innocent.
Happens all the time. With the exception of that, we still have crimes being committed on the streets every single day, especially in these big cities, all the time. So the idea of, we shouldn't have any people in jails, we should have less jails, we should this or that, then you have more. For the true criminals, you have more criminals out there. So it's always interesting, this or that. I don't want to get political, but I see both sides. But I see more of, let's get the bad people in jail, but we definitely got to fix the system of just throwing everybody in jail because we want to get our person. That's where it's a problem.
I think this system needs to be fixed way before, like, in elementary school it needs to be fixed. But it's, I guess, hard when you're such a big country.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Here we go.
It's more than 3 times as many as the Iranians, more than 6 times as many
Oh,
as the Chinese.
Iranians. I'm
no
sorry.
society in
Ukraine.
history has imprisoned more of its citizens than the United States of America.
We do pretty well, though, don't we? We sort of top the European League.
We're ahead of China, Turkey, and India.
Yes.
Yeah, with 148 prisoners per 100,000.
It's the 3 strikes and they're out.
That's been
really
the problem.
bumped it up
Yeah.
recently.
I mean, a legal system based on baseball just seems bizarre. We don't seem to understand the law. It's all very complicated. What's simple? What do people like? Baseball. Right then. Here's the rule.
3 strikes and you're out. Yeah.
Mental.
What it means is, if the first 2 strikes, the first 2 crimes you're convicted of are serious enough, the third one, no matter how trivial, will get a life sentence, 25 years or more. So, for example, Leandro Andrade is serving 2 consecutive 25-year terms for shoplifting 9 videotapes. Or,
You took 9?
yes. Kevin Webber, 26 years for stealing 4 chocolate chip cookies. It's astonishing.
It's really stupid, isn't it? Because if you know you're on this sort of
What?
Yeah.
Well, the thing that makes no sense about that is that, but then you hear about these people who murder other people, and they're out in like 7 years, and you're like, what?
I want to say, and when they said 3 strikes, you're out, was he saying that England has that rule or America has that rule? Because I know America has that rule too, but I don't think, I mean, he had examples there, so it's fine. I don't know which country they're talking about in that moment because they switched over to over the top of the leagues here.
But the way they're reacting, I'm thinking it's America.
I don't know if that's true. Because you hear about people that have been arrested like 15 times for the same thing and they keep getting out.
Yeah.
They keep getting paroled and this or that. So I know it is, but I always thought it had to be of the same crime. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to get into it because I don't know, but there's not the whole piece of information there. Stealing chocolate chip cookies. That's it.
Yes, yes.
That is the idea.
Do another murder. Do a bank job. There's no point.
There's no point doing anything trivial.
If
No,
you're
I know.
going to get caught.
It is a bit bonkers. But the racial numbers are a bit worrying. And the gender numbers, it's 1 in 30 men aged 20 to 34 is behind bars. But for black males, that's 1 in 9. 1 in 9. There are more 17-year-old black people in jail than in college in America. So 5% of the world are American, 25% of all prisoners
Isn't the real
are American.
controversy with this the business end of it?
Well, that's true. It's also, as you say, right, it is a business.
Because it's not just license plate, they make loads of stuff.
Well, one of the things I should have said when talking about contraband is that you're not allowed to bring into America anything that's been made by forced labor or prisons. But in America, you could almost say, if you were so minded, that they've reinvented the slave trade. They produce, for example, 100% of all military helmets, ammunition belts, bulletproof vests, ID tags and other items uniform, 93% of domestically produced paints, 36% of home appliances, 21% of office furniture, which allows the United States to compete with factories in Mexico because, of course, obviously the workers can't refuse to work for 25 cents an hour.
I very much like to say something hilarious, but something must be done.
It is.
Should we?
Yeah,
It feels a bit more question timey to say. Go on.
It is a bit amazing, isn't it?
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
I was not aware of that.
Either was I. I understand the concept of having them work because it's easier to control a mass amount of people when they're working. I didn't know those were the numbers, but
Yes.
I also know that in many, many jails that they have opportunities to further their education. They can get degrees. They have libraries. So, like,
But we're never, I'm sorry, we're never told about the other part of it, about the products and about this. And I'm sure you just go on Google and you can find out. I mean, these guys were able to figure it out. But when you watch, and I know this is not the same, what you're saying, but when I watch a TV show, a straight-on fictional TV show, it's always like the Bible studies and getting your degree and learning to be a lawyer, all this kind of stuff, fighting for your freedom or whatever. You never see them making paint and this or that. I mean, 93% of military helmets and all this kind of
crazy.
stuff.
That's crazy.
And that's how we're able to compete with other. That's where, if I go back to my previous statement, because I don't know the whole story, and I had said the wrongfully accused should not be in prison, that's where it's interesting. The percentages with Black Americans, I've definitely heard that. You hear that many, many times. That's why there's so much outrage with racism and signaling out specific races for doing crimes that all races are doing. That's never right. Never agree with that. It is absolutely a huge problem in this country, 100%.
And it's worse in certain areas. I remember thinking in our area, I'm like, we don't really have racism. Like, we don't really see it. But then it was kind of brought to my attention through a friend of ours that you had shared with me some stories that you guys experienced. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, it's just so sad. It's so sad. And you see it with people in their comments.
Well, I mean, the comment section of this video is going to be bonkers, but it's the manufacturing I was not aware of. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's sad.
And it helps you understand why there's so many people. Again, in a perfect altruistic country, or whatever that word is, you would have only true criminals in jail. That's what I support. The criminals should be in jail. This is crazy.
But again, fact check everything. You can't always just trust one thing. But
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I'm not saying this is wrong. It's crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's extraordinary. Yeah. It's slavery by the back door.
Exactly.
Which is another video that I've got.
Now, one thing I am interested in, and I don't want to make this controversial anyway, they had mentioned that England tops China and other places as well, or maybe they just meant Great Britain. I'm not sure when they said our country. I can't imagine all the prisons over all the world are completely kosher and perfect and not, whatever.
No.
Not making and manufacturing. If one's doing it, the other countries are doing it, especially if it's a world power like the U.S. I mean, it's just like in sports. If one person's found cheating and a team's found cheating, I guarantee it's not the only one doing it because it's a copycat type situation.
Very true. They just got the ones that got
caught.
So
I understand this is a very interesting video, and I'm not offended by it. I know the comment section is going to be a little harsh, and that's fine. We just ask you to follow our community guidelines when you're making your comments, and we appreciate that. But I do think it's interesting to kind of explore other sides. I get it's a clip for a TV show, but it would be nice to know about this because it makes America once again look really, really bad. And we're not a perfect country by any stretch of the imagination, but when they said they're the top in Europe as well, or whatever he said, it's interesting. More than China? Like is that just China not fabricating the numbers correctly, or are they just?
And that's where you have to be careful because we have heard of certain countries not giving accurate numbers. Also, if you look at like the freedoms that the United States has and that Great Britain has compared to China, like there's also differences there. I mean, can't even have certain religions in their countries. There's no talk of like a god or certain types of deities for hope. So, I mean, obviously you're not going to get the same amounts because you've heard of people going in and pulling them out of their homes for having COVID. I mean, they've put like videos, but they also are very limited in their technology in the sense of access to things.
Right.
They don't have access to the whole side of the internet we do. They were showing how TikTok was created by China, and they are showing all their kids like educational videos, science, mathematics, and stuff. But then our kids are getting all these challenges to destroy your schools and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can see that too. I can see that kind of competitiveness. So I think you can't. Yeah, you see the hair?
Yeah.
Thank you.
See, it's bugging you.
I can tell.
Yeah.
I couldn't find it. But I think that you can't quite trust those numbers.
Absolutely not. And for me, the main takeaway is the jail situation with the products and manufacturing. There's a problem there. There's an absolute, because you always hear the joke of license plates, and I even mentioned it's not just license plates they're making.
Yeah.
Like that's a serious problem. Makes me think of Shawshank Redemption, where in that one, and that was based on a novella by Stephen King, But in that one, the warden was able to take advantage of different programs and money out there, and he was able just to pocket all that money and make his prisoners go out there and be labor workers for all these different things. If you don't think that's not happening in some way, then you're kind of crazy. But that's a huge problem. Really interesting episode here. Let us know what you thought. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time.
Goodbye.